What's up, everyone? My name is Luke from the Emerald Dimensions, and today is a follow-up to that shape-shifting video I talked about last time. And I know that video was very well received by people. And in that exact same video I talked about my shape-shifting classification system, and sooner or later I will do a follow-up video on my superpower classification system. It's still a work in progress. But for now, I am a man of my word, and in that same video, I also said my next one would be a top 10 shapeshifters list. And without further ado, top 10 shapeshifters with my classification system.
If you haven't seen that video yet, you should probably do, because this video will make absolutely no goddamn sense.
Okay. Number 10, Martian Manhunter. Okay, so we've all seen the Martian Manhunter, right? He's just stupid powerful. Okay, I think first I should actually explain what kind of shapeshifting he has. He's simple bio shapeshifting, which means that he can only transform into the normal version of animals that you would see. Like, he can only turn into a lion, but he can't have like a combination of lions and snakes. And he also has normal organic shapeshifting, which lets him grow to immense sizes and extend out his arms and do all sorts of crazy stuff that he can do. Well, with just his shapeshifting alone, but he's just one of the most overpowered beings in the Justice League, mainly because he has a ton of different abilities. Like, he has telepathy, he has laser vision, he has invisibility, he can turn into a gas, he can turn into a stone. He is just all around ridiculous. Anyways, but I should also mention that even though this guy is absolutely overpowered, the reason he's in 10th place is because this is by no means in any order. As in, like, this isn't from weakest to strongest or strongest to weakest. This is just a list of what I think are one of the best shapeshifters out there. And in fact, there's actually a whole video dedicated to how powerful the JCU version, JLU version of Martian Manhunter is, and how many different powers he has. Trust me, it's ridiculous. Anyways, with that, why don't we move on to number 9. Number 9, Tama Iki from My Hero Academia. Okay, for those of you who have seen season 6 and 7 of My Hero Academia, this is Tama Iki. He has the quirk of Manifest, which allows him to manifest anything that he eats on his body. Some of his personal favorites are crab, octopus, and other plants. Although he does like chicken. One of his ultimate moves actually combines creatures that he eats, such as using crab shells over his tentacles that way he has some defense and extra attack power when he's going all out with those tentacles and fingers. Anyways, with that said, I should probably tell you what kind of shapeshifting he has. Anyways, so depending on what he eats, he can manifest it on his body, like I said, which earns him the abilities of normal bio shapeshifting, which allows him to turn any part of his body into something that you'd see on an animal. Like, for example, he could have a cow hoof for a tiny finger, or octopus tentacles for arms, as you can see here. Oh, and he can also use, I almost forgot to mention, he can also use clams as shields. He does like those. But he also has but he also has normal phyto shapeshifting. Normally, I would have classed him as simple phyto shapeshifting because he can only eat certain types of plants that are actually able to be eaten by people. For example, you don't see him going around biting trees and then making wood appear out of nowhere in his body for a shield. And since simple phyto shapeshifting is usually reserved for the user being able to manifest one species of plants on their body, or one plant in its close relatives on his body. And in Tamiyuki's place, he can actually manifest any plant on his body as long as it's still making its way through his digestive system. So, with that being said, that's why I'm classifying him as normal phyto shapeshifting. And with that being said, let's move on to number 8. Okay, I'm pretty sure everyone expected Beast Boy on this list at one point or another. Beast Boy has the ability of simple bio shapeshifting, which means that he can turn into any animal, but he's restricted to their pure form, which means he can't have a combination of a monkey, bear, and octopus running around smacking everything in sight. No, it can only turn into just a bear, just a bird, or just a fish, to name a few. And plus, the dude is just ridiculous with his shapeshifting. He's often been able to turn into one animal to another over the course of a conversation. In fact, he was actually on another top 10 shapeshifters list from all the way back in the early 2010s. Or early to late 2010s. Anyways, with that being said, his backstory is definitely tragic, but overall, he's definitely a strong shapeshifter and deserves to be on this list. Also, I kind of just went to Google Images and found a bunch of random pictures, so yeah, don't be surprised if some of these look weird. And with that being said, let's move on to number 7. Number 7, Naruto. Okay, so I know Naruto might be a little weird having this list because mostly what people have seen is that he's just been able to clone himself and run really fast. But he's actually a lot more than that. He's often been said to be one of the strongest shapeshifters in anime/manga. And that being said, let's actually say what his shapeshifting is. He has simple bio shapeshifting, which means he can turn into any animal, like Beast Boy. Similar restraints. He also has simple organic shapeshifting, which means that he's able to turn to look like other people. And not to mention his famous Param Jetsu. And Naruto also has the ability of what I would classify as simple physical shapeshifting. I didn't actually talk about this in my shapeshifting class video, but basically, he's able to turn into objects. Yeah, that's kind of the extent of physical shapeshifting. And with that being said, the reason that he's actually able to do this and everything else he's able to do, not just his shapeshifting, is due to a strong levels of chakra. Basically, imagine Naruto is a water tower. Normally, if another person was a water tower and they wanted to become a ninja, their chakra would be at a decent, be halfway up up the silo. But for Naruto, imagine like he's short, but like in person he's the kind of short. But imagine Naruto as a water tanker, but he's twice the size, and his chakra is just full. Yeah, he's got a lot of chakra to back him up. And with that being said, let's Naruto run over to our number 6 spot. Number 6, Shoji from My Hero Academia. This right here is Shoji. He has a mutation or transformation quirk. I don't know, I can't tell. I can't exactly tell the difference half the time. But regardless of that, Shoji has 6 arms that are stuck together by a web of skin. I know, it's a little weird. But his quirk is called duple arms, which means that on the tips of his arms, he can actually replicate different body parts, such as arms, maybe feet, eyes, and ears. And if he uses eyes and ears at the tips of these tentacles, that means that actually the body parts that he replicates on the tips of his tentacles are actually much more sensitive. So, for example, he uses his arms as a periscope and it makes an eye in the end. You can see for a much farther distance and clearly tell what an object is from that far. Also, he's actually able to make multiple arms from the tips of his tentacles. Like, imagine he has to grab 2 things at once, but all but one arm is tired. So what he does is he can just make 2 arms that come out of the tip of his tentacle, and then extend them out to grab the whatever he needs. Yeah, it's really interesting. And actually one of his ultimate moves is this. He replicates tons of sensory organs on the tips of his tentacles. That way he can clearly tell where someone is, even from a very far distance. I know, it's very impressive. And, and I see over the horizon our number 5 spot. Let's head over. Number 5, Kevin Levin. Okay, Kevin is definitely an interesting character. When he was first debuted in Ben 10, he looked something like this. He's an Osmosian, which means he can temporarily use the abilities of any alien or matter he comes into contact with. In fact, he's actually able to turn his entire body or part of it into a certain material, depending on how much of the material is around. For example, let's say I have a plastic pencil sharpener, and that's the only thing around that Kevin is able to use. If he absorbs it, he doesn't absorb the pencil sharpener itself. He basically copies the amount that the pencil sharpener has. And with that amount, he's only able to turn about the length of his arm into plastic. But let's say he has like a whole metal building around him. He can turn his entire body into metal. And once this happens, he can actually manipulate the shape of his arms, like you would see with the Terminator. And I don't mean like the original Terminator. I mean the one that's made of liquid metal and can turn its arms into hooks and stuff. Oh, and I should also probably mention what his shapeshifting is. Okay, so Kevin Levin has something that's unrelated to shapeshifting, but he has the ability of crystallization, or I guess mineralization, as he's able to turn his body into minerals, or as you can see here, wood. But he also has normal, I want to say bio-shapeshifting, because in one of his most recognizable forms, I'll show you right here. Sorry, I forgot to open the file. In one of his most recognizable forms, he came into contact with the Omnitrix, Ben's watch, and because there were 10 aliens that he had access to, and I guess for some reason, since Ben never used the millions of aliens on the watch, Kevin never actually absorbed the energy of those aliens, so he ended up only taking on the characteristics of the 10 Ben already has available to him. And as you can see here, it horribly mutilated his body and his mind, as if he uses his powers too much, he'll go insane. It's kind of the drawback of being an Osmosi, and you go freaking insane. And now let's use those wings on Kevin's back to fly straight over to our number 4 spot. Number 4, Warren Ampersand. That is the dumbest name I've ever heard. Now, if you don't know who Warren Ampersand is, then I'll tell you. He's actually Jake's father from Adventure Time. You know, the little yellow guy? The little yellow doggo. And like I said, this is in no way this list is in no particular order. So, just like that. Anyways, so Warren Ampersand is an alien with the ability of shape-shifting. Although, he always keeps the characteristics of blue skin and 5 eyes, along with his very strange mouth. And we first saw him in Margaret and Joshua Investigations. Or Joshua and Margaret Investigations. Actually, the episode that Jake and his brother were born in. Don't worry, they didn't actually show that part. But in that episode, Warren Ampersand actually bites down on Joshua's head, Jake's dad, and later he pops out like alien, except it's not lethal to Joshua. And the strangest part about this is at the end of the episode, when after Warren is knocked unconscious, he quickly gets back up after Jake's mom is out of sight. And then, right after, he morphs into something strange. He has this weird branching structures coming off of him, and his eye goes weird. And then after that, strange bulbs appear at the end of those branches, and open a gate to a completely different part of the galaxy, or universe, or whatever. Yes, I know. And for that, I'm giving him the ability of advanced organic shapeshifting, because I have seen no other shapeshifter that can go across the universe in a few seconds. And before we get to our top 3, I'm going to give out some honorable mentions that didn't come on this list for a few reasons. Loki. Now, the reason why he didn't come on this list, even though he's rated number 1 strongest shapeshifter in a different top 10 video, is because his ability isn't shapeshifting. It's creating illusions. And with this ability, he's actually been able to fake his death countless times, and even make shadow clones of himself that way he doesn't die. And even change objects around him. That is not shape-shifting, that is illusions. And thus is why he's not on this list. But since he is able to change the way he looks, he's going to be an honorable mention. Now, we have Mystique. Mystique is another honorable mention, mainly because, she's not especially powerful. Like, she can turn into different people, and for example, when she turned into Wolverine. When that happened, she replicated his claws coming out, except instead of them being vibranium, the strongest substance in Marvel so far, and instead of it being vibranium, it was just flesh. So, yeah, she's on here, like, she's still a shapeshifter. And I'm not saying that she isn't strong. In fact, I would say I'd say she's really good, but mainly because martial arts. Taylor, apparently part of her costume kind of wrinkled, and they never bothered to edit that out. Okay, our next honorable mention is Blue Beetle. Now, I would have definitely put him on this list, but there's one thing that's stopping me. His ability is not shape-shifting, it's actually Technopath. And also, that's not even his real power either. He's wearing an Iron Man-like suit. He's basically wearing the DC equivalent of the Iron Spider suit from Endgame. And also, he's not even in control of the suit. You see, Blue Beetle has this advanced alien scarab implanted in his back. And the scarab actually controls the suit. All the guy inside, only the actual Blue Beetle who's wearing the suit does is just move around and talk to the beetle every once in a while. Now, another reason why he didn't make it on this list is because he's getting his shapeshifting from an outside source, which is not shapeshifting. It's just changing your anatomy from an outside source. And also, it's not even changing his anatomy. But he's still on this list because he's one of the few DC characters I actually really like, and also isn't too OP. And our last honorable mention is Ben Tennyson. Now, the same reason why I didn't put him on this list is similar to that Blue Beetle. He's getting his shape-shifting from an outside source, which I'm not allowing. And I would have loved to put him on this list if he was able to change to aliens without the use of the Omnitrix. Like if he wasn't using the Omnitrix to shapeshift and he was doing it all on his own, without any outside help, or more accurately from a device like the Omnitrix, then I would have definitely put him on this list. But, sadly, we must move on to our number 3 spot. Number 3, Groot. I am Groot. This is Groot. Yeah, you know him, and you love him. The tree guy who only knows 5 words. And only says 3 out of those 5 words. He's been through a lot. He's been exploded. He's grown from a small twig to baby Groot that is freaking adorable. And the type of shapeshifting Groot has is normal phyto shapeshifting. Now, I would have classified this as simple as he's normally shown to be shapeshifting as a tree, but the thing is, he's actually been shown to have normal phyto shapeshifting, which means he's able to turn into any plant that he desires. He's just mainly a tree alien, so so his physical appearance is stuck as a tree. But there are 2 scenes in particular that show that he's able to turn into other plants. The first scene we see him in, he grows a flower out of his hand and hands it to a young girl. And I know trees can make flowers to make fruit, but that was not a flower that you would see on the tree. That is a flower you would see growing on the field when spring is just starting to come up. And the last scene of Guardians of the Galaxy, where that's spoilers. I probably should have said this at the beginning of the video, but there will be spoilers. In the last scene that we see Groot fully intact in, he makes a big ball of just pure vines to protect his friends. His friends grow leaves on the inside so they're comfortable, and produces bioluminescent plants that just float around. And last time I checked, I don't think trees have bioluminescent seeds. Like, last time I checked, I don't remember that being there. So, he is our number 3 spot with normal phyto shapeshifting. And how about Groot helps build us a bridge so we can get to our number 2 spot. Number 2, Jake the dog. Okay, hear me out. I know this is a little weird having Jake on this list, even though his father, Warren Ampersand, at our number 4 spot, was already on this list. But hear me out. Jake has the same abilities that you would see from his father, Warren Ampersand. In fact, at one point he was actually stuck as an alien and and also wasn't completely in control of his shapeshifting. But he's normally shown as this little yellow guy and has normal organic shapeshifting. And also, I do kind of have a bias here. He was the first ever shapeshifter I saw, and was actually the whole reason why I love shapeshifters so much, as they just have so much power and so much potential behind them. There's just a lot of things you could do with shapeshifting. Also, I feel like if Jake had more screen time and also trained more on his alien abilities, he would have developed advanced organic shapeshifting if he learned how to make those little bulbs that would allow him to teleport anywhere with someone else. That's why he's at our number 2 spot. And also, like I said, I do have a bias because he's definitely one of my favorite shapeshifters. But how about he helps carry us over to our number 1 spot on this list? And at our number 1 spot, we have Nymphadora Tonks. And at our number 1 spot, we have Nymphadora Tonks from Harry Potter. Now, in normal Harry Potter fashion, Nymphadora Tonks would be called an animagus. But she's special. Instead of a normal animagus, she has the ability to turn whatever body part she wants into any animal that she wants. Even though this ability hasn't been shown on screen time, like, at all, she's only a one-time character in the movies, and I'm not sure if she's come up more than once in the books, but I do wish that her ability had more screen time. And that being said, let's actually see what her shapeshifting is. Now, I would classify her ability as normal bio shapeshifting and simple organic shapeshifting. I say simple organic shapeshifting because she's only ever been shown to change pigments in her hair and anywhere, and I assume she can do the same with any part of her body. But she's also been shown she's also been described to turn into any person she wants on command. And as you can see from this little GIF here, her normal bio shapeshifting is definitely obvious. Also, the reason why she's different from, and also the reason why she's so special in this universe is because animaguses like her are very rare. In fact, most animaguses are only ever shown to turn into one animal, and one animal only. And they aren't even shown to only turn some parts of their body into their respective animal. Like, you've never seen Professor McGonagall turn her eyes into cat eyes to tell if her students are sneaking around the dark, or if she's in combat, she makes cat claws to scratch at her opponent. Like, you've never seen her do that. But I can definitely assume that Nymphadora can do that as well. Although I really did hope that Nymphadora had more screen time, but unluckily, she was just never one of those characters that had a lot of significance in the Harry Potter story, but I really wish she did. Anyways, with that being said, that was top 10 shapeshifters. I honestly really hope everyone who watched this video mainly those like five people that are watching this video, really enjoyed this, and I know it's almost half an hour, but please give me sympathy. I worked really hard on both of these videos. I honestly wish that people would watch my videos more. If you have any friends, please share this, and if you enjoyed it, please consider liking and following. Please do. Anyways, adios. I'll see you guys next time with a brand new series. Bye.